Hello, welcome to Seeking Heaven, the near-death experience and other phenomena. I'm your host, Tamara Caulder Richardson. I'm a 6-time near-death experiencer, as well as Evidential Medium and Christ channeler, and welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, share, tell your friends, and make comments. I try to answer most of the comments if you do leave something or have a question, and like. So I'm super excited about today's guest. I feel so honored and blessed to have them on today. And let me tell you a little bit before properly bringing them on. I have someone here from Italy to South Africa. She lives in South Africa now. So we, this today is just really a treat. Today, my guest is Althea Lucrezia Avanzo. Now, she does many things, but she is known as a light code channeler, as well as a Starseed Contactee, Abductee, cosmic healer, but she uses many spiritual gifts and techniques to be able to assist people in this world and the universe. So I want to bring her on and thank her for being here. Althea, thank you for being on the Seeking Heaven channel.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very grateful to be here, to connect with you and to connect with all these beautiful people.
So now when you started working with your higher self and the other beings, which again is not really separate, because we're connected to our higher self is still part of something bigger. How did that start transforming you? Because and I want to get into light codes and channeling as well. So how did that change you? When did that start? When did that spiritual doorway open up? How did that evolve?
I think it really, really made me understand how much I needed to work in service to source and in service to others. That's, I think, the big, it's like, and you guys will know, you will know, you just want to help. You just want to help. Yeah. It doesn't, you just want to, and it comes with a lot of learning lessons. So setting boundaries, putting yourself first, being anchored, being grounded, speaking your truth. So it comes with, a whole bunch of lessons, but my life improved exponentially since I started going down. But there's also one thing that I want to say, which is so important for channelers and for people who are thinking of opening and channeling and doing, connecting and whatnot. Do it in a way that is safe. You don't want to be opening yourself to, whatever it is that comes through that isn't for your highest alignment, because if you're going through, well, first of all, if you're purging hectically, your channel won't necessarily open. But if you're done purging and you're still clearing a few things here and there might be things that you're not aware of. There might be parts of you that you haven't worked through or haven't healed. And you're opening yourself up and you're attracting things with that part of yourself that you're still not aware of. So just being mindful and aware whenever we do step into these spaces and we do want to open up, being in a space of love and heart and placing protection around, never out of fear, always out of love. But for me, as I channel and as I pull through codes, I heal myself as well. And through every client that I've ever had, I've always learned something. Like, I offer a service, but I'm getting so much back from it as well. So it's just very important to always see it in that way and always just be in a space of trust and gratitude for everything, really.
One of the things that you mentioned earlier, I don't know if you recall, you were talking about channeling versus knowing this. And then I've had, and I think I want to make the separation before we move forward to a deeper level, is that, we can only speak from experience or people that have had experiences. But for me, I wasn't looking like I want to channel. Look, I already saw spirit people since 3. I talk to them all the time. They seem cool. But when I started channeling, it was because of all the astral traveling. I wasn't trying. I was just curious. I was full of wonder. I still am. And it just happened. So it was seamless. It was a flow that opened up. I didn't try at any of it. It wasn't like, I'm going to channel now. So if you have that connection, which is the highest love, that it flows through you. It's not like, let me do this right now. I mean, you or I could just boom right now, because it flows through and with and within and all around. So I'd like to make that distinction, especially in the US, I think channeling is perceived. You sit down, okay, I'm going to do it now. And I'm like, no, it's like a part of you. It's like it's like an energy that flows through you. What do you feel about this?
Yeah, I think it goes in layers. I do believe like psychic intuition, like everything is a muscle. So the more you use it, the better you become at it. So I think, I mean, you can sit down and concentrate and focus and ask for messages and call things to come in and whatnot. But you eventually, after you've done it for long enough, you get to a point where, like you say, it's a part of you, it's integrated, it's part of yourself. But there are different steps to getting there. And I believe it's important for people to know that anyone can channel. It's a muscle. If you want to, learn how to channel, you can, but just important doing it in like a safe, grounded, and anchored way.
No, I agree. And again, that goes back to also grounding, protecting, working with the highest light, divine love, the creator, whatever you want to call it, all these things. And if you do that if you have any fear really with anything, it's just not going to be probably, even if you go into a relationship with fear, it's not a positive thing. Anything, if you want to take on a new activity in fear, probably not a good idea. You might fail. But if you do it from, like childlike wonder, excitement, love, anticipation, and knowing that you are protected and loved from your team, team guide or your guides or whatever you want to call it, I think this is the right attitude to have. So tell us about the light codes and the symbols. And I have many to show that you've done. Did it start out as looking like doodles? You showed me some earlier stuff. How did it progress?
Yeah, I can show you. So if you see what I do now and to what it started off kind of just like very plain symbols.
Okay, hold it up again. Okay, hold it up again, and I'll put you here. Yeah, I got it. Got it.
Yeah, this is kind of what it started like. Like the first ones were very they were very like kind of like this one already is looking a little bit like more like a language. But it really started, just like scribbles and doodles and whatnot. And that is in itself also a form of channeling, because if you get automatic writing and like that. Yeah.
It is automatic writing.
So it started like that. Then the hand movement started. And then I think about 2 to 3 months after that, my throat activated. And the reason, sorry, I'm just overheating a bit. The reason my throat took longer to activate it was because at the time I was still smoking. So I was still smoking cigarettes. So there was still things going on that needed to be cleared through my throat. So it took a little bit longer for that to activate. But for me, I also had a very intense work done on me from multiple light language channelers all at the same time, did some work on me in 2019. I had 2 very, very intense exorcisms done on me, on my system. I had stuff cleared, released, like shouting, like you would see in like a movie, sort of thing. And after I went through that, things kind of like started settling down a little bit more. And then it started opening. Again, I really wanted it. Like I would sit down, I would sit in meditation.
You work for it.
Hours, and I would say, okay, especially when I wanted my throat to open, because I knew that I was smoking and I knew I had to do specific work to get there. So the way I understand and how it works with codes is that they're of a specific frequency, which is actually 5th dimensional and up. So you need to be able to reach that frequency within your light body and your energy field. And it doesn't mean that you're living there, you're anchored still here in 3D. You need to be very anchored. That was another problem that I encountered. I was getting all this information, all this stuff, but I wasn't able to retain it properly because my system wasn't anchoring enough. Like now I anchor up to 10 to 15 times a day. That's how much I ground to be able to receive and integrate all the information that it gets sent to me. Something else that's also very important that was told to me, I think this was about 1.5 years ago, physical level, you need to be clear. The more clear you are on a physical level, the better your channel is. If you're polluting yourself, if you're drinking alcohol, if you're smoking cigarettes, if you're eating junk food, your system's going to be polluted. So it's going to be your channel. It's the same.
Well, yeah, what goes in, what comes out.
Yeah, exactly. I do lives on Instagram, and I was actually told when I started doing the lives about a year and a half or so ago, my guide said to me, you actually need to bulk up and put on muscle in the top part of your body to be able to withstand, because sometimes I get sent about between 100 to 200 higher selves of people that come through me, and I channel codes for that amount of people, and my physical body needs to be strong to be able to withstand it. So a lot of channelers don't speak about this. Your system actually needs to be at a certain frequency to be able to withstand.
It is important. Now, when I mean, you know, I've always liked this. God trained me. I came in knowing, but the thing is, I did, you know, train more just because we live in this world. I thought, well, why not? And I trained with Lisa Williams, and she made a big comment about that, about being able, and she does trance, but she says, and I do that. I'll have them layer over, use the ectoplasm and use their face on top of mine and all that, which I think is kind of cool. I'm not normal, but you need to physically work your body out. You need to physically work out. It also grounds you. I love martial arts because it grounded me, because you have to think on the spot. You have to be there mentally, and you also is physical. And so, but to be physical is important. Drinking a lot of water. I find that people that do a lot of work like this are, well, I know I am very much so in the clouds. So I have to do things to bring me back here and ground me. I mean, literally nature, touching, you know, going outside, touching things, looking at things, dirt, you know, literally grounding. And it's so important. And when I find I'm getting flighty and seeing the signs, then I have to force myself to go do that. Because quite honestly, I kind of like living out there. But you're absolutely right. It is part of the work for that. So channeling can be like information coming in. Channeling could be maybe like, for example, you know, I'm moving around like some uncle and snapping my fingers, you know, like they used to be. So it can be that way. It can be written. It can be automatic writing. It could be singing. It could be your body position and movements. I don't know. Did I leave anything out? What else?
No, it can be really anything. So I'll just give you an example. Let's say your friend is very upset because she broke up from her partner. You go to her house, you speak to her, you tell her words of wisdom and whatnot. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, where did that come from? That was probably her guide speaking through you to assist her. So
of course, yeah,
we're channeling in everyday things as well. We just
we do.
Are not familiar with this because we don't get taught in school how to.
Yes. And I think this is the way everybody, and when I say this, they go, me too. Everybody is channeling somebody. They're always channeling someone. They're channeling, hopefully it's your guides, or they're trying to help you. That's why it's important to stay in a good vibration, a good love frequency, because then, you know, you're channeling good stuff, you know, but that's, you know, art and music is channeled, and it's inspired in us. It's not always it's not a bad thing. But I think that it can be exciting if you, there's so much in that area, but you're right. People just don't know. So tell us, channeling, what it means to you, and these beautiful drawings I mean, how many years from being the doodles to these incredible things that you're doing? I mean, I looked at them and my soul felt so overjoyed. I don't want to cry, but I was so like, I felt, you know what I felt like, Althea? I felt like, there it is. I've been looking for that a long time. I have been, where have you been? You know what I mean? Like a long time. Like the one I saw, the Rosicrucian. I saw that. I saw the DNA Atlantean one. I was like, oh my God, I thought I'd never see that again. And I just felt so appreciative.
Thank you. Yeah. So with those, I don't know what's going to come through. I just start and I do it and it comes through. They are gateways and portals, all of them. All of them can be integrated on different levels depending on your individual needs. So the digital ones are a little bit different to the hand-drawn ones. So the digital ones are the Luma ones, like the Diamond White Flame of Atlantis. There's a full chakra system clearing one, the Rosicrucian one that you mentioned. There's one to access your Akashic records. There's many different ones. I mean, I don't even know how many I've done. Like I actually
past regression. There's one, a Lemurian one. There's an Atlantean one. There's past lives.
There's a
There's
recent one that I
different
did as
childhood
well.
clearing. You did a childhood clearing one. I
Yeah,
saw
a
that one.
sexual recently channeled one to help with connecting to 0 point frequency, 0 point neutrality, being in the quantum void where you are everything and nothing. So that's one that I recently did as well. And meanwhile, the hand-drawn ones, which are the ones in black and white that you can see that are hand-drawn, those is Atlantean technology. Most of them are Atlantean technology, so they come from those timelines. Some of them are actually spaceships and spaceships moving. So what I did in one of my lifetimes in Atlantis, I basically worked in this kind of like, it was this kind of like temple, and I had two big wormhole portals, one on one side, one on the other, and I would move huge like whole universes or fleets of ships or planets and systems from one space to another. So a lot of these are quantum convergence converters, portals, they stargates. So there's a lot of that kind of technology in those ones. So yeah, and then sometimes I just get writing that comes through. Some of it is, I don't know, codes of truth to help you for being in your truth, higher heart activations, heart opening, throat clearings, higher chakras activations. It's very like, you can really pull them through for anything. And I do individual codes. So what people do is they come to me, they book for a specific codes that I will attune to their specific frequency and then channel it for them as an individual.
Well, that sounds beautiful. To me, I felt they felt like that they're dimensional portals within certain fields. Let's say in this case, you're saying a client, but within their field, and then there's a repair being done in the etheric world, which really affects the body. It is mass associated with it. We can't see it. We can sure feel it when it comes across as an emotion and when an emotion is released. But some of those gave me great joy to look at. Some of them were very powerful. And they also, when you were talking about mantis, some of that did look like a combination of things, but the mantis, I've heard they're very loving and very, well, they're very high vibration, like a palladium would be, but it kind of has that, it kind of looks like that flare. There's also a masculine, but also there's a feminine element to it. There's a flare to it. I thought they were just outstanding. So, and I will post these here for people to see. Look, I know we're getting close to being out of time. Tell everyone, I know you've got a course or something coming up. Tell them how they can get in touch with you. And I know that the links are below for the Instagram and YouTube and the website, but mention your services.
Yes, so I do offer a lot of different services. Actually, my range is quite broad. I will do just whole system clearings, chakra aligning and balancing, Akashic clearing. So what I do is I actually go into your system and clear your timelines. So I clear traumas, old patterns, cords that don't serve you anymore. I do cord cutting. I do offer a 6-week program as well, which is literally a training for light workers. I teach you basically everything I know, and it does come with light language activations. Every week has an activation in it. And I teach you how to use energy, how to move energy around your body, how to access the Akashic records. That is the most complete thing that I offered, which is a 6-week ascension program. Then I have individual sessions just to clear the systems, light language activations as well. I do offer also a higher chakra attunement, which is a 13 chakra attunement, where I go in and I open more chakras in your systems. Because we are evolving and getting to eventually be into crystalline frequency as a collective. This kind of work was sent to me last year to help people who are already, at a certain point in their journey and just want to open up and evolve more. So I offer that as well. And then I offer also a collective healing, which is once a month, 45 minutes of channeled light language, only for $12. And that's what I make accessible to everyone, apart from obviously my free content on my YouTube YouTube channel and my Instagram channel, in my Facebook page. I do also offer that, and that's a recording of 45 minutes, very, very powerful. And I do that every month as well. So yeah, so you can just get in contact with me through my website.
Althea, you are really a bright light, this shining bright. I still think you are that planet, just manifested in this beautiful human being. Thank you so much for doing this. And everybody stay tuned for part 2, where we actually get into an activation and she'll explain more of this. And thank you so much for watching, and much love to you, Althea.
Thank you for
Take care.
having me.
Namaste. Please subscribe, like, and make comments, and support this channel by becoming a member. Thank you for your continued support.